Now it's my real pleasure and honor to welcome Her Excellency, Dr. Einas Al-Eisa, the director of the Princess Nura bin Abdulrahman University in Riyadh in Saudi Arabia. It's really a pleasure to have you with us. I know your background is more in the health side, in the health sciences, rather than in the social sciences where we concentrate here at the GRM. But it's such a pleasure to have you with us. And as I said, I drove by the university so many times. So we're really interested to hear from you. And may I ask you to come and provide your address to us, please. Thank you so much.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for being here today. And I'd like to start by thanking Dr. Abdulaziz bin Sagar for the kind invitation to be here. I am honored to be here today. And to be honest, I designed this talk as a story. And as a story with a timeline and images and photographs of real Saudi women, because I'm here to say the story of Saudi females. The title of the story is On Equal Grounds, because that's the exact wording we use back home to describe the recent reforms that took place in Saudi Arabia. The whole story starts only 63 years ago with the first access for females to education by a formal royal decree in 1959, opening the first schools in Saudi Arabia. Shortly after that, university allowed females to study by correspondence, and beyond that, there was a stagnation period for quite some time. So I'm just stopping by the biggest milestones in the history of women empowerment in Saudi Arabia. So in 2005, women had the access to be members in the Chamber of Commerce. And after 3 years of that, we had the first female deputy minister in the Ministry of Education. The last most important milestone before Vision 2030 is the women appointment in the Shura Council, which is the highest consultative body in Saudi Arabia, and then women participation in the municipal elections. That's it. So over a span of 57 years, these are the only major milestones that I can speak about in the story of women empowerment, in the history of women empowerment, until the inception of Vision 2030 in 2016. But before I go into the vision, so what was the status of women? Were they prepared for this change? Were they prepared to be, or did they need the change at the time? First of all, let's start with education. Saudi Arabia has the highest correlation between gender and advancement in mathematics, with females being better in math in early education. We're among the top. So women are really excelling in general education. Women are also excelling in higher education. So we have women outnumber men in the enrollment and the graduation from university, and not just the enrollment, but even the highly specialized disciplines such as health, IT, and generally STEM. But despite these great numbers, the unemployment rate among females was much higher than men. And women workers were only 7% of the workforce, with an economic participation of only 19%. So despite the fact that we had 57 women graduate from health schools, we only had 25% of the workforce in health were females. And despite the fact that we had 62 female graduates from schools of business, only 7% of people working in ICT were females. So clearly, this indicates that we needed a change. What was the change? Again, the inception of Saudi Vision 2030. In a nutshell, the vision is basically a blueprint and a roadmap for the future, built around three major pillars: a vibrant society, a thriving economy, and an ambitious nation. And under these three big pillars, we have 96 strategic objectives attained through 11 vision realization programs, all inclusive of women. This is a direct statement from the vision. The vision clearly states that women are untapped potential. The vision clearly states that women are another great asset, and the vision empowers women and enables them to strengthen their future and contribute to the development of the society and the economy. In fact, one of the goals of the Vision 2030 is to increase the participation of women in the workplace. And to do this, we have two mechanisms. One is through initiatives and projects, different entities performing these initiatives, and the other, and which is more impactful, is the legislative and the social reforms by the political willpower. So, for example, I'll throw in some examples today. So we have 7 initiatives focusing on women under the National Transformation Program, which is one of the 11 vision realization programs. One of these initiatives pertains to building leadership capacity among females, and we are honored at Princess Nura University to host that program. And I think today is a great opportunity to invite you to come and visit the university and perhaps visit the Female Leadership Center, inshallah, in the university. There are 4 initiatives under the umbrella of the Human Resources and Social Development Ministry, all pertaining to supporting women in the workforce and increasing the inclusivity and diversity in the labor market in Saudi Arabia. Perhaps the most advertised royal decree that is well publicized in the West is the allowing women to drive. It's not just putting a woman behind a wheel. It signified a new change and declared the political willpower to really enable women to be as autonomous and independent, to take choice in their life in general. But the less talked about and perhaps more impactful legislative reform in the country is the amendment of the male guardianship law, and most recently the announcement of family law reform, which really regulated women's personal affairs in a way that was unprecedented in the history of the country. Now, please look at that picture. It looks normal to you, right? So what? Female sports athletes. This is the first soccer female team in their trip to go to the Maldives to play an international game. This was a dream. This was really beyond a dream, and this is one of the manifestations of the Vision 2030. Of course, the leadership. The vision manifests itself clearly in the empowerment of females by the appointment of female leaders. We had the first female woman ambassador, Princess Rima, here in the picture, 4 women vice ministers in 2019, the Ministry of Education, 13 women in the Saudi Human Rights Council, which constitutes 50% of that council, 3 women cultural attachés, and in fact, earlier this month, we had the announcement of 2 major positions in the country for females. One is the Deputy Minister of Tourism, and the other is the Assistant to the Secretary General of the Ministers of Councils, and we're very proud of that. So here I'm only touching the surface. Really, we can't keep up with really the good news that are taking place. Another great picture. Again, I'm just telling a story, and these are real women, real pictures, real images. The Vision 2030 opened new career prospects for females. So we have women now in the police force and in the military, opening options and opportunities for girls in previously unwelcomed sectors. Sorry, someone talking? Okay. Picture, Saudi female racer. Her name is Masha'al. So I've given you a glimpse of what the vision is, a number of initiatives under a number of entities taking place all at the same time. So how did this was this impactful? Has this really induced change? Or can we actually feel this change? Can we measure it? Can we assess it? In fact, first of all, unemployment dropped from 33% to 22%. Women workers increased from 7% to 27%. Female participation in the economy increased from 19 to 35%. Remember the story of women in the healthcare? It only increased by 3%, but that increase is qualitative. Look at the female physicians. We increased the female physicians in the workforce from 11 to 16%. Now the biggest change, the biggest notable change took place in the ICT sector. So remember, we had 57% of female graduates from colleges of computer science, 7% at the time, 25 prior to Vision 2030. Now the female participation in the ICT sector is 28%. Generally speaking, 41% of the civil sector force of the civil sector workforce are females. One-third of the small and medium enterprises are owned by women, and the number of females registering their own businesses has doubled over this period beyond Vision 2030. All this was reflected in the international indices for Saudi Arabia. And here I'm using an example of the World Bank report on women, business, and the law index. And here you can see from 26 in 2010 to 80, the score jumped to 80. How? Since I am in Cambridge, I expected this question, so I come prepared with the graphs and the numbers. And as you can see here, this is the performance of Saudi Arabia since 1971, and you can see the sudden jump that took place from 2011 and beyond. And here you can see clearly the change in mobility and marriage and parenthood, which are the relevant personal matters that matter to a woman. Now allow me to gloat a little bit about Princess Nura University. So you heard two of the esteemed speakers today touch upon the beauty of the physical facility of Princess Nura University. We're strategically located near the airport, so anyone going into town will end up seeing Princess Nura University. And again, I repeat the invitation to everyone here at the audience. Princess Nura University is the largest female university in the world, not just in terms of size, but in terms of number of students, faculty, and the diverse number of programs offered at the university. We have 4 clear strategic objectives. Obviously, one of them is women empowerment. And we host 3 schools for STEM, engineering and science, and business administration, engineering, and science. What's the third? And computer science, I'm sorry. I forgot completely computer science. I'm not used to giving talks at this time of the day. So we have 23% of our student body are in these 3 STEM colleges. We have 5 health colleges. We have 18% of our student body in health schools, and we have a school of design, state-of-the-art school of design, and I also look forward to all of you visiting it. So how does Princess Nura University play a role in this ecosystem in the country, serving women and empowering women throughout? We do this through a number of mechanisms. One, because we're a university, we study and we measure and we assess, of course. So we assess the impact of legislations. We celebrate and spotlight the success of women. We support women leaders. We offer new degrees, progressive degrees, to open new opportunities, and we innovate in our degrees so that our females can be competitive in the labor market. So here, for example, one of these entities that serve this strategic objective is the National Observatory for Women. It's a research entity that is linked to the General Authority for Statistics for data gathering, and basically it generates an annual index to evaluate the effectiveness of women-related initiatives. That's a major role that the university is playing at the moment. This is an example of the index in 2019. As you can see here, we bridge the gap in education and in the health between males and females. We still have a long way to go in the organizational dimension and in the economic dimension. And the 2021 index will be released shortly. We also have an annual prize for women's excellence under the patronage of the King of Saudi Arabia. annual. Most recently, we received generous funding from the government to start a national museum for women to document the history of women in the region for the past 300 years. We also hosted, again, as I mentioned before, one of the initiatives by the National Transformation Program, which is to build capacity in leadership or leadership capacity building in females, to train 1,700 female leaders across the country. So far, we've graduated 1,000, so the first cohort, 1,000 graduates from this program, and we did this in partnership with INSEAD School of Business. Now, we're a university, so data is power. We took all this data from the 1,000 trainees, used that data to start a know-how in leadership capacity building in the country, and we started the Women's Leadership Center in Princess Nura University that goes beyond just the training, so it gives a business solution to businesses, professional development, and basically localizing leadership training in the region. The first product of this center is a program called Qiyadiyya, done in collaboration also with international entities. And basically, we provide networks for women, and we just graduated the first cohort, 60 female leaders from government and the private sector. I want you to read this statement, if you don't mind. Where do you think this statement comes from? Where would you say it came from? Leadership? Straight from Vision 2030. So the Vision 2030 not only started initiatives empowering females, empowering women, doing social reforms, but it also inspired academia to do things differently. So at Princess Nura University, inspired by that quote, we are evolving from higher education just for learning purposes to beyond that, higher education also for economic development. And to do this, now we have a new and innovative way to reform our curricula. We came up with a Sigma degree. A Sigma degree is basically a collaboration. Any new program in Saudi Arabia, in Princess Nura University, starts with a collaboration with a business partner to define the competencies and the on-job training and the career path, partnership with a legislative partner to understand the legislation around and the job needs for this job. Now you would say, well, this is obvious and it's always done. Actually, we design it so that it's a lifelong journey with early exit points that coincides with career path points. And I'll give an example for this. We opened in 2020, the year of the pandemic, while we were all in lockdown. We started 21 new programs, all in areas that were also unprecedented, such as filmmaking and animation and photography and all that. This is an example of one of the latest degrees that we offer in the university, which is a Master's in Women's Studies. And also it's done as a Sigma degree, so a student can graduate after one semester, after 15 hours with a certificate in women leadership, or continue to graduate after a year, complete the 1 year and get a higher diploma in women's studies, or complete the thesis and the capstone and graduate with a Master's in Women's Studies. We do this through our collaboration with universities around the world. And I'm very proud to announce that we, in the last 2 months, we signed with 6 UK universities, and we're very proud of these collaborations, and we hope to do more. And for example, one of the most valuable collaborations that we have at the university is our collaboration with Swansea University, and we're opening the first Masters in Energy in September for females, offered in collaboration with Swansea University. Also, the Vision 2030 inspired us to go beyond and create global citizens, not just graduates of the university, but really global citizens. And we did this in collaboration with the UN Staff College to train our faculty on SDG training. And we now embed the SDG to create that know-how and understanding for our students about the issues of the world. We also value local partnerships. So we partnered with the Saudi Federation for Cybersecurity and Programming and Drones, and we created an academy for coders. This academy grew bigger, and through it, we were able to start and collaborate with Apple to start the first Apple Developer Academy in the region and in Africa, and the first cohort are graduating end of this month in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. Now, remember the story of female graduates from colleges of computer sciences, 7% participation in ICT, increased to 27%. We felt at Princess Nura University we could help advance this number better and create better opportunities for female to join the workforce in ICT. So we started our own pink tech company that actually allows free working hours and virtual working for females from all around the country, tapping the potential of the graduates, the high number of graduates of females across the country. Last but not least, athletics. You saw the big smile I had when the slide that pertains to of our first soccer team. I'm in England. I believe everyone here loves soccer as well. And in Princess Nura University, with the great facility that you can see from the outside, it's just as great, if not even better, from the inside. So we have now 21,000 students engaged in 16 different sports in Princess Nura University with a jump of 400%. And I know Dr. Bunsagar was concerned about COVID, and he said, what happened during COVID? Look, even during COVID, we had online workshops for athletes, so they never stopped. The future, my last slide. So after all this storytelling, what does the future hold for us? Years and years and years of stagnation, and then a sudden and progressive advancement in every direction. The future, I think, holds promising sectors for Saudi females. We have the quality of life service sector, very promising. We have the gig economy and freelancing, which is the sector of choice for the current generation. We are also targeting the entrepreneurial and small and medium SMEs in general, and of course, the sector of technology. So I hope in this storytelling of on equal grounds that I was successful in showcasing what the country has been going through in the last years from 2016 and beyond. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. That was really wonderful.
Thank you.
Could you